During this class, we are going to create the routes for our RESTful API. Some of them routes. Of course, we are going to create some other along the classes. The routes are basically a bridge between the URL that the user requests and the method on a specific controller to be executed. So, depending on the method and the URL specified by the user during a request, we are going to know which method in which specific controller execute depending on the routes. As you may imagine, Laravel provides us a very good way to create resource routes for our RESTful API. Of course, we don't have a comment, but we can easily create only one route in only one line and result with several routes related with that specific resource. That is called resource routes. So let's see what I'm talking about. The routes after Laravel 5.3 are located in the routes folder here. So remember, this is of course an API, so preferably we are going to use the API routes file. So here we are going to create a route, for example, for the buoyers. Using the root resource method, we are able to specify the resource that we are going to use and which controller use directly there. In fact, we can additionally specify which methods of that controller are going to be available. So this is for buoyers, so we are going to use the buoyers in plural resource. Then the controller is located inside the buoyer folder and the controller is called buoyer controller. So we already created a resource route. So let's see what is the effect of this. So let's open the command prompt inside of our virtual machine and use the PHP artisan to see the list of the routes. So as you can see, using only one line, we already obtained several routes. We can see the routes like index to obtain the list of all the buoyers, or post to create or store a buoyer, the create that basically returns a formulary with the required fields to create a buoyer, for example, obtain a specific buoyer, update a specific buoyer, destroy or edit. So it is very possible that, for example, for some specific controllers or for some specific resources, we don't want to provide all of those routes. So we can specify to Laravel which methods we want to use and which not. So for example, in the case of buoyers and sellers, we don't want to allow to create, update, or destroy directly that resource because they are in fact users. So the client who is requesting our RESTful API should do that directly with the user's resource, but not with the sellers or buoyers. So basically, we are going to allow only to use the index and show methods. So for this, we can go again to our code and say this. In this way, so we are saying to Laravel that we just need the index and show related routes. So if we see again our command prompt, we can see that we only have those two routes respectively. So let's do something similar with our other 5 resources. So in the case of categories, we want to provide access to all the methods. It means we want to show, to create, to update, and destroy categories directly in the category controller, but we don't want to return the forms in order to, for example, create or edit that category. In fact, we don't want to do that with no one of our resources. So For this, instead of use only, we can use except. It means that for categories, we are going to allow all the methods excepting create and edit. It doesn't mean that we are not going to allow to create or edit categories. In fact, we are allowing that. We are just removing the methods that returns the formularies, but not the methods that allow to store or update the specific resource. So those are categories. Let's go with products. We are going to allow only to see products. The same for sellers and transaction. And finally, for users, we are going to allow all the methods excepting again the create and edit. So let's use it specifically for users. So we are ready now. Let's see what is the result again in our command prompt. So we are done. We have already created the basic routes for our basic controllers. Of course, along the future classes, we are going to clarify why are we using only those specific methods and not all of them. And of course, we are going to add any other controllers and routes in order to provide access to other advanced operations. So, see you then.